Today's episode of the Cantina is brought to you by Grow Generation. Whether you're at the Death Star or the Senate, they have everything you need to grow right where you are. More from them later in the episode.
Welcome to a galaxy far, far away. Here at the Cantina Podcast, we provide top-shelf service, including rumors, leaks, news, and reviews. Come in, order a Loman Ale, and remember, no droids allowed.
Yes, so welcome to the Cantina. We're back this week. It is myself, Cam Clark, and as always, co-host Kyle Malone. Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm sorry if you guys can hear the lawn mower or the weed eater whenever I talk, but they're almost done.
I couldn't. Now I can. Now it's like when somebody mentions to you, there's a Led Zeppelin track that they mention to you that you can hear the squeak off the bass pedal, and you never notice it till someone mentions that to you, and then you hear it, and then you always hear it every time on that song.
Yeah, it's like
anyway.
But no, I like that because it's like Endgame, when it was pointed out that the kid in the diner at the beginning, or not very beginning, but with Professor Hulk, when we first meet Professor, he looks at the camera. He straight dead up looks at the camera. I can't unsee it. Every time I see Endgame, I see that fucking kid look at the camera. Anyway,
that's sometimes what makes these little films, all these little things that you notice. It must be a good film if you notice these things after a while. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
There's a few in Star Wars and that we notice and we kind of love as well, isn't there? A lot of mistakes.
Obi-Wan's like saber not being fixed being one of them.
I mean, yeah, that was a classic. The classic bump in the head stuff, that happened. There's quite a few little bits and bobs. We're not going to go through them all because we probably talked them a little bit when we did a kind of extensive reviews and things like that. Anyway, why are you listening to the Cantina this week? Probably to hear Kyle and I talk once again about whatever kind of Star Wars news has been kind of jumping about this week. So we're going to jump off on, well, an Obi-Wan Kenobi set video leak.
Oh my god, this guy or girl, whoever they are. Just the set video thing, it's funny. Keep going.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry, I thought you were talking about something else.
No. I'm on this. It's hilarious.
You're on the page. And it is quite hilarious because it looks to me like it's a security guard doing their rounds round the set with a freaking mobile phone out, taking a picture, and then they've just uploaded the Cantina music from Star going through it while this guy or gal drives around the set and shows us it. And let's be honest though, there's nothing revealing at all in this video whatsoever. No. There really isn't. But what is perhaps more interesting is the person who uploaded it on TikTok has said there'll be more coming.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it sounds like Lucasfilm have a mole in the ranks on that Obi-Wan Kenobi production, and someone who's just a little bit fancy free as well. Do you see this ending well, Kel?
No. Hold on. I'm sitting here shoving my face while watching the video on my phone, and what's so funny is, like you said, that comment that more's to come, and I had that same idea you did. It's like, I don't know if this is a Lucasfilm employee, otherwise they would have already been sacked and it would have come out and we would have. I think this is, like you said, security guard.
But surely they'd be able to work that out fairly quickly, there must be some way to kind of identify the time it was shot, the time of day it is, who was on site who was running security and just basically go to the security firm and say, basically, you know,
we don't want him on our
like this.
thing
we're
anymore.
Getting rid of you as a security company, and we'll find somebody else. You know, it could be as much as that.
It could
they
be.
could go into for this, because although this one isn't revealing, I mean, we just don't know what else this person could come up with next. I mean, he was talking about, you know, potentially some fight scenes and stuff like that as things start to get into filming, and you just never know where these things do originate sometimes. But yeah, this is. I mean, there's 100% that's the Obi-Wan Kenobi set in LA. I mean, there ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think they definitely are probably recycling stuff from Mando and Boba Fett, which had Tatooine sets.
Yeah, I mean,
but
it makes sense.
Yeah, there's still stuff eventually. I mean, there's times that we don't catch them, like you said, things that we don't catch the first time you see something, even the first 100 times you see something. But on time 101, you catch something, and it's story driven, Easter egg, this, that, or the other. That's kind of like my fear, is not necessarily someone trying to spoil anything, somebody maybe trying to, you know, show
that there's a cool
thing going
show
on.
Something that seems mundane, but you notice an Easter egg or something that you were supposed to pick up in the show.
You ruined it. You mean Luke Skywalker travels in time and bitch smacks his dad for not being able to jump over Obi-Wan after jumping like 80 feet earlier? During the worst lightsaber fight ever in cinema.
Yeah, well, we did cover that last week. I don't think extensively enough to do it justice. We'll just have to get Mike on and just shout at him for a whole hour next time.
I do want to say this.
We'll get him to bring his case and present his evidence and everything like that. But then we'll just mock him.
That's what I want to do. I offer a lightsaber debate challenge to anyone, a duel, if you will, for any one or two people that wish to come and talk about the choreography, the style, the actual technical aspects of the lightsaber duels throughout Star Wars. But yeah, I don't know. There's ways they could get at the person making the videos for certain, even if it is a third party contractor. But I think that because of, you know, privacy laws and things like that might be why we haven't necessarily heard about this person's firing. But you are right. It would be very easy for Disney to be like, pull this person off the project or you're off the project. If they can get a replacement, because you got to think, you also got contractors for like equipment movers, people that are delivering goods, caterers. There's a lot of contractors, third party. Dude, like, it could take them a long time to find them all.
Yeah, I suppose so. That's the thing with these things. Sometimes, you know, it might not be that easy for them to actually root this person out. But when they do, I mean, they can do a lot more than sack this person as well. You know,
it depends on
prosecute them, and
it depends on if they sign
what
any
they've signed, and you would imagine that as an employee, they've told them, you know, you're bound by the same terms we agreed as the company coming in.
You would expect
like that, you know, but
and
who knows? Who knows?
Then there's always the question, and this is always an interesting one to me, because a lot of filming happens overseas these days. You know, Star Wars has been filming there in the UK for, you know, ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's an American movie, an American writer, director originally, all that. So you start looking at, you know, jurisdiction of civil cases in a situation like that. You know, that would be a civil case. It wouldn't necessarily be. It could potentially, depending on, again, local law. It's such a weird thing, but it
depends what kind of agreements that they've got in place with the studio, with, you know, if we're talking about Leavesden Studios or something like that, you know, have they got some sort of deal in place, but the people that have been working there have been working on secretive movies for it feels like forever, you know what I mean? So they probably have really tight security, but then this in LA seems as if they've kind of just built this. I don't know where in LA they're actually that this is happening. So I mean, I don't know shit about LA. I've never been to America, so
much of
LA. There's no point in me talking about it.
I can only stay there.
But somewhere in there, that's where it is anyway. And you know, it is the right kind of place to film in terms of kind of an environment as well. You know, that's going to look like Tatooine and not have to kind of fly over to Tunisia or somewhere else in Africa to actually shoot all the scenes that they want to have in Tatooine. Anyway, so what we found out is that there will be scenes on Tatooine in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Shocker.
Shock.
You know, none of us thought that.
No, we thought Owen and Peru were taking a vacation out to Mon Calamari, you know, see the waves.
Yeah,
but,
maybe it was all going to be set underwater and it was going to be like a Finding Nemo kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Finding Obi-Wan. Anyway, sticking with sort of Obi-Wan, there's a bit of interesting kind of official information come out this week, which fans, myself included, picked up on, and I wrote this article up for LRM as well. And basically, it's a new sort of book that's coming out, Skywalker Family at War, and you know, it's gone into some of the kind of background, a little bits and bobs, and there's an excerpt that was posted on Reddit, on the Star Wars Leak subreddit, which, you know, we post stuff that goes on there, and you know, I pick up stuff from there as well, because you know, I've always said you know, if you're looking for news, you will never beat Reddit for speed. You know, those guys, someone in the world will find it quicker than you. So you know, when you're looking for news, it's a great source. Anyway, the excerpt basically confirms that Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon started being able to commune about 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. And of course, we just found out officially the press release that we talked about last week for Obi-Wan, that the Obi-Wan Kenobi show is actually set 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So we're in the kind of time frame where it's possible that those two things have been kind of planned, that, you know, they're going to have... Now, there is an Ahsoka book which references that Obi-Wan first heard Qui-Gon's voice about a year after Revenge of the Sith, but it doesn't necessarily say communicated with him. It could have took him that long to actually have a conversation.
Yeah, versus
with him,
maybe,
you know,
getting feelings.
because remember, Qui-Gon's not fully manifested. Like, it's Obi-Wan that appears to Luke. It's not as if Luke needs training to speak to Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan's fully trained. So Yoda and Obi-Wan can appear to, basically, as far as we know, whoever the hell they want. You know, that's obviously Force sensitive enough. But, you know, Qui-Gon is only able to commune with people after, you know, and Yoda only hears his voice the first time after, you know, deep meditation, after all the events of Revenge of the Sith. You know, and then we found out in the Clone Wars that he had been, you know, leading up to that point, he had been going through almost training by Qui-Gon himself, and then he was going to go to Dagobah and learn some more. So it doesn't necessarily seem as if he can just willy-nilly talk to Qui-Gon at this point either. So it does feel like it's something that takes a long time to learn. So it's conceivable that we could have the first proper conversation in a long time between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, as part of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. We don't know. It's just a theory. At the end of the day, there's nothing to say this will think, you know, happen, but it's just one of those connections that you could easily put together.
Yeah.
I said that I would kind of... I did put this wrong, and somebody pulled me up on it in either Discord or the comments, I can't remember, and I'd said I would feel a bit cheated at this point if they don't bring Liam Neeson in for a sort of voice appearance. We don't necessarily... We shouldn't be able to see him, but we should be able to hear his voice. And I really would like to have a conversation that happens in the Force between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. I think me saying I would feel cheated is what the person picked up on, and I get that actually, because it's kind of there's some sort of self-entitlement that I have to which we've been talking about recently. People just seem to think they should get whatever they want in a movie or a show or whatever. All I really mean to say is I think it's a good opportunity for a scene like that, and I think it's a scene that a lot of Star Wars fans, myself included, would enjoy seeing. So I'd kind of maybe just be a little bit disappointed if at the end of it we hadn't had that, But it really just depends on, we don't know anything about how the show is going to be structured, so there's no guarantees that is going to be the case. What do you think?
Firstly, anyone that ever says, "How dare you want something?" Get bent. Like, honest, you obviously want something. Somebody else wants something. I like all meats pizza. You come at me with fucking banana peppers, I'm gonna throw the pizza at you, right? But bacon and pepperoni and sausage and extra cheese. That's good. Am I somehow wrong?
Yeah, but
I won't.
It would be fair to say though
pepper?
that if you don't get what you want, doesn't mean you've been cheated though, and I think that's where I use
potentially
that.
I could still feel that way, and you're completely fine to feel that way, because this is the thing. People, look, right now out there's a group that are screaming up and down, "Hey, we want more new stuff, not old stuff," and they feel cheated when they see a lot more old stuff getting praise than new stuff, and then not necessarily the person that talked to you, but this happens, then go right around and tell someone else, "Oh, you're acting entitled because you want old stuff." Everyone is into everyone has an opinion, so get over.
I mean, I'm with you on that.
So, but to your point, I agree that Neeson would definitely be cheated, being one of the only ones, to from that prequel trilogy and Clone Wars era to not get some love other than a voice only and
it's kind of because he died though, and canonically can't really be fully trained, or else why wasn't Qui-Gon just showing up everywhere,
right.
And why didn't he help Anakin, and that would pose
potentially issues.
But they've made that work though with the way they've built it in. But at the point Obi-Wan said, there really isn't any good reason why they would say don't do this.
Exactly.
We don't want to do this. All we can say is that Liam Neeson, when he was asked about it, said he hadn't been approached. But I think he would be up for it. The way he was talking as well. But if it is just a voice role, and it's not a lot of work, maybe they've just kind of reached out to him and he said, "Yeah, let's talk, and I'll do it at some point, let's just work out the schedules." But he just doesn't want to say anything. I mean, that's absolutely possible as well.
Yeah.
But all I'll kind of say on it, and I think you then agree with me, Kyle, is we'd like to see it, and we hope that Neeson does have a voice part and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, because we'd like to see a conversation between them, about Anakin and everything that happened.
I wouldn't even mind him appearing in Ghost Force. The first person to do. They could make it some. I mean, they
could explain that that's the first time he's really been able to that kind of, because what's happened. He has appeared physically in animated form to Yoda, but only in a certain place. Right. But, Obi-Wan could have to journey to that same place as part of the show as well, so we just don't know.
We know that.
I mean, that would be cool, but at the same time, I'd be happy enough just to have the voice.
And one of the interesting things about it is, like you said, and Lucas tried to connect some dots in a deleted scene, I think, from Revenge of the Sith, but it takes Qui-Gon quite a bit to pop up in ghost form, but it takes every Jedi after him like no time at all. And I know that they try to do that by saying, "Oh, I've got a technique to teach you,"
trained and stuff.
But
So he kind of
Yeah.
he was learning, but he died before he could learn, whereas the rest of them have already learned it by the time they die.
Yeah,
so
like I said, they had a loose connection, and then
they
they
had
went
to
and tried
give
to
a reason
tighten
why
it up.
there wasn't just force ghosts running about the place during the prequels, because that was one of the questions you always thought. Can they just, is there all these ghost Jedis just running about advising people that know everything? That would be too OP. So,
do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I kind of like the way the EU made it. Not everyone could do it. It was very much similar to what Lucas did, but he makes like a whole training, or well, not just Lucas, but Lucas, Filoni, and others involved in the prequel era lore. But in the old EU, not looking at that, it was about your connection with the Force, like how connected to the Force, how in tune you were.
The stronger people could do it.
We're more likely we're more likely to be able to do it than others, and not everyone, even some of the strongest never popped up again. I
see. That was one of the things I didn't like about the EU. I seem to kind of remember that now, and I remember as well. And one of the things I hated is when like dark side users come back and appear to people as visions as well, because it kind of made me think that went against the way the movies were telling you. Is that, like, to me, like the theme or Yoda versus Emperor was always the Emperor wanted to live forever in a mortal form. Yoda was somebody who naturally lived a very, very long time, but he didn't care about that. He was happy to become part of the Force and everything like that. And that's why the secret to immortality isn't really anything to do with the Sith, because it makes you twisted and old and wrinkly and everything like that. The secret is
your Force lightning being deflected off a lightsaber makes you old and wrinkly.
But this was before the prequels were talking about here. So remember, I had my own ideas about why the Emperor looked like that, and that made sense. And I think there was some stuff in the EU about how it had become
eats at you
so corrupted by the dark side and everything like that, which made more sense to me. Anyway,
it was also part of why in the EU why Anakin couldn't heal himself. He couldn't. He was so twisted by the darkness and hatred that he couldn't even use the Force to do like positive things within himself like other Jedi can.
Yeah, I mean, I even remember reading some EU stuff where it was talking about like almost he used the power of his hatred to kind of help keep him alive. Like his body was actually failing, and it was his hatred, so he had to keep that fire going. And he could, if he could keep it going, he could almost like be okay without the suit, and then once it dropped, he would need the suit back on again to keep him alive. Like, he couldn't sustain his anger, and he at the time thought, "What is this about me?" And that was, I remember reading that in one of the EU books, and again, that's far more interesting than anything we've seen most recently in live action, that's for sure. Anyway, we could go on about that all day. So otherwise, with Obi-Wan Kenobi, we also saw kind of Ewan McGregor. He looks as if he's got a quite fulsome beard at the moment. Now that'll be probably before he goes in and the makeup guys get a hold of him and say, "This is what we want you to look at." He's probably just trying to grow the longest beard he can, so they can just work with it at that point. But we know it's about to kick off, and it's already it's basically up and running. It's just, I'm not sure if McGregor's actually been on set to film anything yet.
Does he have any frames in the can yet? I wonder this about Obi-Wan Kenobi. I wonder if they're gonna do the superimposition, where they put Alec Guinness's fucking face slightly over his in post.
Oh no, that would be.
They did that once, didn't they? Wasn't it for like a photo shoot, or It was something they did. Let me look.
A static photo is completely different from sustaining something like that in a movie. Oh, that would be awful. No, I mean, Guinness is long gone now, and I'm to be honest with you, I don't think they can do that. I don't think they have the rights to use his likeness in live action or anything like that. I think they can use his voice, but I don't think they can use his likeness.
Maybe
I'm pretty sure. It's only I've only ever seen it since the movies and animated form.
Maybe that's what I got.
And it's not as if he can give permission for that.
I think it was maybe
I just don't see it happening.
A makeup thing, and they were looking at. I think that's what it was.
They can use it privately as much as they want.
Yeah, I think they were using. I think it was maybe like one of the making ofs for clones or
maybe Revenge of the Sith, as they were trying to get
using like a makeup traditional.
Because I liked his look in Sith a lot better than his look in Attack of the Clones when he had the weird mullet, and stuff like that. God. I didn't like the mullet look. He looked so much better.
They screwed up with the ages though, but God, fucking. Whatever.
Yeah, they did, but they screwed up George. A lot of other shit ages as well. Yeah. We could talk about a rumour that just broke today from Cinelinx, who it's just kind of Jordan Mason, if he's a kind of leaker scooper. Not a lot on Star Wars recently, but this one kind of we talked about it kind of off air a little bit, and it kind of feels like this could be right. And they're basically saying that they think Din Djarin himself is going to make an appearance in the Book of Boba Fett, which we know has already filmed. Mm-hmm. And is pretty much wrapped as far as we know. I think they've still got a couple of things to do, Mike was saying last week. But, could be finished any time, basically. That obviously it might not even have involved Pascal have to be there. It could just be some voice work or something like that. But that's interesting, and it feels like you and I feel that there's a couple of different ways that could work, and quite naturally for Din Djarin to show up in the Book of Boba Fett, don't we?
Yeah. One of the big things you and I brought up was that the phrase "book of Boba Fett" and the idea of chapters is very key. And you and I,
it's a strange title for the show. It is,
and we think that we might see chapters of his life, some stuff from younger Fett, some stuff from.
Yeah. I'm not sure how they would do it. I think it would
flashback type stuff,
flashbacks mixed with what's going on just now, but then talking about what's happened to him leading up to this point. Maybe even a whole episode dedicated to a flashback. I could see that kind of thing going on, definitely. Yep. And what I'd kind of said to you offline was, there's a couple of different possibilities. Yes, there's going to be some now time, and that's post the Mandalorian season 3, so it's possible Din Djarin could show up for whatever reason at Jabba's palace, somewhere else that Fett or Fennec Shand meet Mando. They're not exactly enemies or anything, are they? They're going to be pretty friendly at this point, so they would chat to each other, I assume. Or it could be that if we do a flashback kind of thing that goes up to that time, we could see some more scenes that we kind of didn't see in Mando season 3, where a personal conversation that happened between Fett and Djarin or something like that was kind of off camera season 3. So there's a couple of possibilities there.
Imagine, I can even imagine it being the final episode to help carry us forward, and I can almost see it
considering this jumps into eventually Mandalorian season 3, I can absolutely
wonder if maybe we might even get a council of sorts. Not necessarily they'll call themselves a council, but where we're going to see all of the Mandalorian armored characters, all of those with a stake in the name of Mandalore, whether Fett, he...
Yeah, and this is also going by our theory that based on what happened in season 2 and the fact that Grogu's no longer with Mando, that we're going to move into more of that the whole Mandalorian thing going forward. That's where the story's going to go. That's just a theory. But again,
I think we might see not just Jaren, but as well as Cara Thrace. Oh fuck, not
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan. Hera Thrace. Bo and her two friends. And I think we will. It'll be towards the end of it. I'm a full believer in it. Yeah. And what'll be great though is to see that towards the end. But the number one thing that I want to see out of Boba Fett itself isn't even, and I hate Disney because I know they're going to show it because they think we all really want to see it. I don't want to see the actual escape from the Sarlacc. Do you?
Let's not be hasty.
Oh God, come on! You want to see him shoot his way or
you don't know how he gets out? We've talked about this before. Remember that book that was where he was speaking to the other guy that was in there, and it was a really kind of psychological thing about him sort of getting himself to the point he could get out. That I loved that book. So if they had an episode that was like, him practically going mental, inside the Sarlacc. I mean,
Disney's not going to do it that way though. They're gonna solo a Star Wars story and he's gonna speak Sarlacc.
Like he just got out 10 minutes.
He's gonna
later,
speak Sarlacc and get out. He's gonna ask the Sarlacc to let out.
I mean, then we'll say that shit. And we'll call it like we see it at the time, if that's the way they're going to go. But I think I have to have a bit more faith in sort of based on what we've seen from them so far. I do,
but I always look at, because and it's hard. I'm biased because you got to remember this is new territory for me. I've never been a Boba Fett fan.
Yeah. No, I'm the same. In fact, that like, story that I talk about was the only thing I ever really liked about Boba Fett.
I already know, like you like that book. I didn't care for it one way or the other. So for me, it's just like I don't want to see that because I already know he gets out. Let's see the shit we don't. Which was one of the reasons I hated Solo so much. It's like you guys are literally showing me shit I already know and don't care about. Let's see Han Solo, the best smuggler in the galaxy. Oh, wait, I forgot. Disney hates Han Solo. But anywho, I know it would be great right now, Cam, if you could please tell us about our great sponsors over at growgeneration.com.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. The Grow Generation commercial team is armed with industry-leading professional consultants. Grow Generation's team will help you fully manage any size or scale project. They offer turnkey facility designs, cultivation room design, and on-site project consultation. Go to www.growgeneration.com where the pros go to grow. Welcome back. Thanks to Grow Generation. Thanks for our sponsors. Yeah, let's move on to talk a little bit, if you like, Kyle, about the Bad Batch, which is the next, obviously, thing that is coming in Star Wars, and we don't have sort of too long now to wait for that. Obviously, the release date is May the 4th. Any Star Wars fan won't forget that particular day, which is commonly known as Star Wars Day. And if you need me to tell you why it's known as Star Wars Day, why are you listening to this podcast exactly? Is it just something to help you fall asleep at night? If so,
let's put it this way.
I'm not going to explain it.
There was a reason that there was a lot of anger at the idea of a December Star Wars movie. May is more than just the word May May the Force /4.
Because that's when the first movie came out, and so on and so forth, and all the other ones up to that point. Yep, absolutely. Anyway, so when it comes out, since we last spoke, we found out that the premiere is actually 70 minutes long, which is kind of like movie length for an animated feature. You're right, and you know, and a lot of the kind of fans seem to think that what we're maybe going to get is a kind of what happened just after Order 66 kind of big climax thing, maybe even, you know, involved in Mandalore and what kind of happened there with Ahsoka and Maul, which was all kind of happening at the same time as the events of Revenge of the Sith. So that could be interesting, but we've also, it's followed up on the Friday. That's obviously is it a Tuesday, May the 4th? I think it is. Yep. And then it's followed up on the Friday by episode 2. And we also found that what we don't know is like how many episodes even is this show. No one knows this, but there was a bit of information that came out recently. One of the composers was on the Sith's podcast, and he was talking about scoring obviously the Bad Batch, and he had mentioned that he had just got done scoring episode 14 and talked a little bit, there was a jungle scene and some stuff going on and how he was kind of doing the percussion for it and all that sort of stuff. So that's our first kind of any kind of clue about episode length, and it doesn't sound like he's talking about the finale either, because you would say like just get done scoring the finale or something like that. It just doesn't feel kind of that language. So people are guessing that it could be anything from sort of 14 to 20 episodes long, and if that's per week, maybe average, 20-25 minutes an episode, that's about average for a cartoon, maybe 22 minutes, then that's going to lead definitely right into Loki as well. Do you know what I mean? Yep. That's going to keep fans at least with something to watch Star Wars going for quite a bit of time.
It's our first new Star Wars, like true new, other than that Lego holiday special, which I will say, outside of the Life Day celebration shit, is still, other than Mandalorian, that's the best Star Wars Disney has done. No joke. I kid you not. I loved watching it.
I have still not watched
you
it.
You need to.
I just have an aversion against Lego.
I know. The Life Day part is meant to be very comical and for kid, and it's also very tongue-in-cheek, poking fun at the corniness from the other one. But anyways, yeah, it's the first. You mentioned Loki, and like it's a Marvel fans smorgasbord on Disney Plus, and there's all these Star Wars projects in the shoot, and we're just like waiting to get there. We got Bad Batch, and then Book of Boba Fett very, very late this year.
It's going to take a while. Yeah, we're going to have that gap between the Bad Batch, certainly, and the Book of Boba Fett. But if the Bad Batch is something like 20 episodes long, let's say, I'm not saying it is, but it could be, that takes us pretty close to where we're going to start getting excited about the Book of Boba Fett anyway. And if you're an Omni kind of geek fan, like certainly Kel and I are, and probably most of the people listening are, and you like all the Marvel stuff as well, then we have all that obviously to carry us through. So it will be interesting to see that we'll have both Loki and the Bad Batch probably going up on a Friday. They'll get released at the same time. They won't have quite the same buzz about an episode of the Bad Batch as we will for Loki. That would be different if it was the Mandalorian season 3, I'm sure. But but I wonder if we are going to get to that point where you're going to have Star Wars and Marvel stuff competing against each other, or whether somebody at Disney is sitting planning all this so that they've always got one in the go, but they never kind of cross over. Maybe it's okay to cross over animated, but do you think they'll cross over live action stuff eventually?
God, I hope not.
But I hope that in a year's time we're at the point where literally every single week there's something Marvel or Star Wars coming out. One finishes and another thing starts.
In all reality, it's tough when you're covering stuff on the writing side. It's also tough covering things here on the podcast side. I have to watch almost everything twice. I was getting a few months ago. I was getting really, really burned out on watch something take notes, review it, record, edit, and it's like, oh God, I don't want to watch it. I don't enjoy it because it was like work. So I came up with this solution. I will, everything that I review just about, like after we record this, I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to watch Dr. Stone with my family in preparation to record Anime Versal later on today, as you guys are listening, tomorrow for me as I'm recording. But this Friday release thing, it's everyone, and I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, it's not like it's not like it's live TV.
I mean, that would affect us because, like, you know, if they're going to release, let's say, Book of Boba Fett starts on a Friday, you know, then we need to be able to watch that show before we can record Cantina. Yeah. So it could be Cantina has to move to later on a Friday or a Saturday night. Then, you know, at the same time you're maybe having to watch Loki because we're recording
exactly
Marvel Multiverse Mondays and blah 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 blah
so
blah.
It would be great.
I know what you mean.
And I don't expect
they would spread some of this shit out during the week. Basically,
individual networks did this, guys. They figured out times, slots, and dates to compete with each other, and what show fits best on what day of the week. These studios with their streaming services, you guys need to start doing the same, because Friday is becoming my least favorite day.
See, I still love the, you know, I'm working from home at the moment, you know, I still have that. I got up on a Friday and, you know, I'm trying to watch whatever the new show is, you know, so at the moment it's obviously Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And then I get to go and write about it, you know, which it's kind of works alright for me, but I don't do quite as many sort of podcasts as you, so talking about it's a little bit different than just putting your thoughts down on a bit of paper. Do you know what we really need? We need more volunteers, people in. We have got a wee call for action out, so if anyone is interested in ever, you know, coming and joining the LRM team, if you're as passionate as we are about Star Wars, fantasy, comic books, Marvel, DC,
music,
whatever the kind of the genre you're into is, you know, we in this genre verse, if you like, then, you know, drop us a line. You know, the details are on the website about how to do that. You know, some people just want to like just do podcasts only. Some people want to learn, you know, how to write and stuff like that. That's absolutely cool. You know,
I got to promise not to poach too many writers and bring them over to the podcast side. But yeah, Cam, that's a good idea. Ask yourselves, who are you in this vast genreverse? Who are you in this vast genreverse?
Yes.
Anyways,
and come and join ours if you feel that you want to. Yeah, and that pretty much covers it for this week's edition of Cantina. Kyle, do you have any words of wisdom at the end of this episode, or anything else that you want to talk about before we wrap
up? Go read the funny little bit about Ahsoka on lrmonline.com, because that's hilarious. I'm just gonna tease you wrote that, right?
Yeah.
Tease you guys.
Ahsoka rumor that isn't a rumor is the title. Just go and look at it. I don't really want to.
Good. Go.
I don't want to give the rumor any.
Yeah. Go read that on lrmonline.com. It's definitely worth the read. Trust me. And according to our wonderful plug-in at the top that tells you it's only a 4-minute read. No, I will say this, Cam. I have been converted to audiobooks for one purpose only, though. Bedtime. It is amazing to sit there and listen to the Thrawn trilogy every night going to bed.
Don't you just like kind of fall asleep, listen to it though, and then wake up and it's still going? Don't you do that?
Audible's got a timer.
That would piss me off.
Audible's got a timer, so I know it takes me, roughly X minutes to fall asleep.
But do you never like get up the next day and have to kind of say, oh, but I need to go back a little bit?
You might need to go back a little bit, but it's still fun. Like I love it. I can't like listen to it in the car. I can't listen to it in the shower or anything, but just laying in bed and listening to it is awesome. So if you guys haven't tried out,
I try and read a little bit before I go to bed at night because it helps me wind down. At the moment, I'm reading the sloggiest book in the world. So
what's that?
I'm in Wheel of Time book 10, which is considered the worst book of the 14. Not a lot happens in it, and that's the way I'm kind of feeling.
Why are you fantasy
at the moment
fans so masochistic? Like, I don't.
Well, it's not masochistic if you enjoy it. I have enjoyed reading the series. This particular book is kind of like how everybody gets to where they need to be in the next one, apparently, and it's just not. So far, anyway. I'm not finished it. It's not that entertaining.
No, I don't have it.
But
anything else to say other than thanks to all of our great listeners and our awesome sponsors.
Thanks very much, guys. Tune in next week, as always, for episode of the Cantinas on Fridays. Bye.